An attack on a local courthouse. We have new accounts from witnesses who saw the deadly shootout.
And I turned around and officers just swarmed the courthouse. I saw them shoot the guy.
And new information about the possible motive of the gunman. A developing weather situation, thunderstorms moving through parts of North Georgia right now.
Good evening. I'm Justin Farmer.
I'm Jovita Moore. We are seeing more pop-up showers, and some of us are under a severe thunderstorm watch. Chief Meteorologist Glenn Burns is tracking the latest. He's in Severe Weather Center 2. Glenn?
Here, the counties outlined in the severe thunderstorm watch, which will continue until 8 p.m. tonight, does include Cleveland and Randolph counties in Alabama, but north of I-20, not seeing so much. I think we're in pretty good shape here, north of Carrollton toward Rome and up into the Gordon County area in Calhoun. Here's the way we look on Storm Tracker 2 HD radar. North of I-20, everybody in good shape. South of I-20, still some thunder and lightning and locally heavy rainfall pounding parts of southeastern Coweta County over toward the Fayette County area. That extends down into Pike County in Zebulon. Locally heavy rainfall, but the lightning, that is your major concern here. Over 250 lightning strikes in this view in the last 10 minutes. The motion of the storms off to the southeast at about 35 miles per hour. Now we do have a thunderstorm here. It's not severe, but is proving to be a lightning producer. 35 lightning strikes in and around Covington, mainly south of I-20 in central Newton County. Storm motion here off to the southeast at about 35 miles per hour. It's going to put it over toward northern Jasper County in about 20 minutes or so if it holds together. We'll continue to update you through the newscast, and your full 5-day forecast and weekend weather outlook is coming up.
And have a look at this. I mean, serious business. The DeKalb County man's going to be fined after this tree smashed into his home on Marco Drive. New video we just got into the newsroom in the past 30 minutes. Michael Person says he first thought someone was trying to break into his South DeKalb home, but then found the tree. If you don't already have it, be sure to download our free Severe Weather Team app for your smartphones and tablets. You can see local radar anytime. You can always get your 5-day forecast. Search WSB TV in our app store. Now to the new information on today's shootout in front of the Forsyth County Courthouse.
The sheriff says a lone gunman armed with all sorts of weapons attempted a full frontal assault. This is exclusive cell phone video a witness gave us. You can hear all the gunfire. The gunman shot a deputy in the leg. Other deputies then shot and killed the gunman. And that orange plume that you see there, that's smoke from a smoke grenade thrown by the attacker.
And this is a picture of the deputy who confronted the gunman and saved so many lives. Deputy Daniel Rush was shot in the leg and is expected to make a full recovery. Now, a picture of the deceased gunman, Dennis Marks of Cumming. We have new information about his possible motive.
Marks' house is about 2 miles from the courthouse. Authorities have it blocked off right now because they do think it could be filled with booby traps. We have a team of reporters and photographers working every angle of this story. We begin our live Team 2 coverage with Channel 2's Tony Thomas. He spoke with 2 judges who were in the courthouse during the shooting. Tony.
Yeah, that's right. This is the command center where authorities have been briefing us all day. The sheriff came here twice, praising the actions of his deputies. So did 2 of the judges who were in the courthouse at the time of the shooting. They describe a horrifying scene, everyone running for cover and hiding, not knowing exactly what was happening or who might be coming for them.
It's just fear. I mean, you really don't know whether the people that are, the noises that you're hearing are people that are, the bad guys or the good guys. So that was pretty scary.
State Court Judge Russ McClellan hid in his office with his staff as outside the gun battle roared. Then he says they waited another 30 minutes before being given the all clear.
The deputies in my courtroom said we have a shooting in the courthouse. Everybody down.
Superior Court Chief Judge Jeffrey Bagley was waiting on suspect Marks to arrive and set to hear a guilty plea in his drug trafficking case. He says he can't help but think Marks was heading with all his weapons for his courtroom.
If that shooter had gotten into the courthouse, I don't know. It's only speculation, but he knew exactly where my courtroom was. He knew exactly where his case was scheduled to be heard.
Both judges say they know wounded Deputy Daniel Rush well.
He greeted me this morning when I came into the office.
And believe he likely saved many lives, including their own.
You don't really think about on a day-to-day basis that you're in danger, but certainly anything can happen.
The sheriff tells me he's watched courthouse surveillance video of this shootout several times today. He says it lasted nearly 3 minutes. Now, as the judges left this command center this afternoon, they were planning to head to the hospital to thank that deputy in person. Live in Forsyth County, Tony Thomas, Channel 2 Action News.
More details about the deputy shot in the courthouse confrontation. He was scheduled for what doctors call routine surgery on his right leg. The sheriff's office tells us the deputy has a fractured leg from the shooting. And as he arrived at the hospital this afternoon, he updated his Facebook status, posting, "I am okay."
Now a live picture of downtown Cumming near the scene of the deadly shootout. You can see part of the area is still blocked off tonight. Police and deputies remain on the scene. Their cruisers line the streets right now. Also right now, police have the gunman's neighborhood blocked off. They fear that his home could be booby-trapped. Our live Team 2 coverage continues with Channel 2's Carrie Cavanaugh from the scene. Carrie, you tracked down the gunman's former attorney who painted a picture of that gunman.
She did, Justin, and now we want to paint a picture for you of this neighborhood. It has been blocked off by members of the SWAT team and the GBI State Patrol since we arrived here at 12:30 this afternoon. The SWAT team officially rolled in around 4 o'clock, and we have heard some explosions since they started getting to work. Channel 2 Action News photographer Arnold Sinclair was rolling on those two explosions. There was a third one earlier that we missed. It was much louder than those two, but we've seen no indication that anybody was injured as a result of those explosions. Now, as for that attorney, she says she represented the suspect for about 6 months on weapons charges, and it was during the past several weeks that their relationship declined.
But his emotional state was very fragile. He was very, very sensitive, very scared. He was obsessed about not going to jail.
Attorney Ann Schaefer said she represented suspected courthouse gunman Dennis Marks for about 6 months. But she says during the past several weeks, their relationship deteriorated.
He would not communicate with me. He was not willing to discuss certain pieces of evidence.
Schaefer says Marks, an avid gun dealer, was arrested for drug and weapons charges but had no prior criminal history. Schaefer says she was working on a negotiated plea for Marks when she received a letter.
Did not fire me, but said that we were not doing our jobs and he felt persecuted.
She says the judge accepted her motion to withdraw as Marks' attorney, but she came to the Forsyth County Courthouse Friday morning anyway to make sure his plea deal went smoothly. When Marks was a couple of hours late, Schaefer had to move on to other business. As she was pulling out of the courthouse parking lot, she heard gunshots.
I had this feeling that it could have been.
And here is another live look at the entrance to this subdivision where they are executing the search warrant at Marks's home. We believe that this is about to wrap up soon because we have seen some law enforcement leaving. We have talked to neighbors who say they haven't been able to get in all day, but they of course understand that the officers here are operating under an abundance of caution. Again, as for the attorney, she says she never had any indication that this man was any type of public threat. If she did, she said she absolutely would have reported it. Live and Carrie Cavanaugh, Channel 2 Action News.
We've learned the gunman, Dennis Marks, was no stranger to law enforcement, in particular Forsyth County deputies. He was suing more than 24 of them. Channel 2's investigative reporter Jody Fleischer has been digging into his past. New at 6, she's live in our newsroom to give us insight into why he may have targeted the courthouse today. Jody?
Jovita, those drug charges Marks was expected to plead to in court today date back to August 2011. That's when the Forsyth County SWAT team and investigators raided his home to arrest him. Now, according to this federal lawsuit he filed, Marks was extremely angry with how sheriff's deputies treated him during that raid.
This is video of Dennis Marks engaged in a shootout with the very sheriff's department he accused of using excessive force. In August 2013, Marks sued the Forsyth County Sheriff's Office, the SWAT team, and named more than 24 specific officers. He alleged unlawful searches and seizures, unreasonable force, and violation of his civil rights. In October, Marks added even more detail. He said when officers raided his home on Lakeside Trail back in August 2011, he was subjected to a beatdown and forcibly physically restrained for an extended period of time. He said the officers ransacked his home, leaving everything in shambles, and destroyed his furniture, family heirlooms, and memorabilia he'd been collecting for years. Marks filed a new document this past April, claiming the raid left him and his family without the means to properly protect themselves, presumably because his weapons were taken. As a result, he blamed the officers for either directly or indirectly leading to the death and/or murder of one of his family members.
Now, this federal case was still pending because the sheriff asked the judge to put it on hold so Marks could go to trial on his criminal charges first. Now, those are the very charges Marks was scheduled to resolve this morning. Instead, he showed up to make what the sheriff called a frontal assault on the courthouse. Live in the newsroom, Jody Fleischer, Channel 2 Action News.
Thank you, Jody. Some of the most dramatic video we've seen today comes from a Channel 2 viewer and his cell phone. It shows just how dramatic the gunfight in front of the courthouse was. Another witness sent this one to Channel 2 Action News. The video begins after the shootout. We have blurred the image of deputies dragging Marks away from his car to the street. Continuing coverage of this big local news story continues in minutes on Channel 2 Action News at 6.
Updating you on some breaking news. All lanes I-85 southbound are closed near the Mall of Georgia, and the traffic has been backed up for miles as you get a look. Gwinnett Fire telling us that a truck carrying cabinet supplies and screws was involved in an accident involving 3 vehicles. The truck rolled. Some of those supplies were lost and spewed. Here's a look from News Chopper 2 just past the Buford Drive exit. Several vehicles are crashed. Crews are clearing the debris from the expressway now. Right now, traffic's backed up again at least 6 miles. We'll continue to update these events throughout this newscast.
This evening, the man accused of murdering 2 men outside a Roswell house is in jail. 31-year-old Stephen Heller is charged with murder. He allegedly shot and killed 20-year-olds Nick Avery and Spencer Long. Police say minutes after the shooting on Linwood Drive yesterday, they started getting calls of an erratic driver along Marietta Highway. Before they could catch up to him, detectives say Heller tried to stash his evidence.
He was still with the car. He had already thrown the gun into the woods and had trying to get rid of some other evidence. He had stashed the license plate off the car, the drive-out tag.
Police believe Heller knew the victims and killed them over a dispute about money.
An active scene tonight at the home of the man officers killed in a courthouse shootout. They're searching for evidence that could shed some light on the motive here. And we have a team of reporters and photographers bringing you live Team 2 coverage of the investigation, including what led officers to call a local hotel.
Showers and storms winding down for the night, but I think they're going to be back big time this weekend. I'll take you hour by hour through your weekend weather forecast coming up.
An explosion of legal claims following a hospital scandal.
A lot of people simply get shoved under the carpet.
New at 6, the critics who say it could lead to even more delays for veterans seeking help.